Here is the 2024 Toyota Sequoia Capstone in midnight black. When we got the refresh, we increased 13% in horsepower, 31% in torque, increasing payload and towing capabilities. The Capstone is the most luxurious of all the Sequoias. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and that's going to take me to some pros and cons and the problem that I have with the Sequoia and some comparable rivals. In the front, everything is going to get LED. Projected LED headlights, daytime runnings, and fog lights, with sequential LED turn signals which can be optioned on the limited tier. The enlarged grille gets the chrome aesthetics, front and rear parking sensors with a 360-degree reverse camera and clearance over 8 inches. And this year, the Platinum, just like the Limited last year, can get the TRD off-road package. So I like that we have the capabilities of that because that will add the Bilston shocks and the skid plate with the electronically controlled locking rear differential and your off-road modes such as the crawl mode and the hill descent function. But when you go Capstone, you get the hybrid iForce Max that's housed underneath this hood, which is a V6 hybrid, producing 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. Compared to a 10-speed automatic transmission, achieving 19 mpgs for the city, 22 mpgs for the highway. The fenders are going to get the same color as the body, encasing 22-inch chromed out wheels. Going into the Limited, you can option a 20-inch wheel, and the SR5 will be equipped with an 18-inch wheel, going against some of the comparable rivals like Ford, Chevy, GMC. They're going to be a little bit longer. They're also going to cost a little bit more money. Now, towing capabilities and payload, you're getting over 9,500 pounds, and you're getting over 1,700 pounds, but it's not going to be the best in class. That will go to the Jeep Wagoneer, which is 10,000 pounds. That's some serious towing capabilities. Plus, you can ford through water the most in that variant. This will outperform Ford, Chevy, and GMC with towing and payload. So it ticks the box for an everyday drive, plus it's a luxury drive, but there is some cons. And it has to start off with no soft closed doors, and we're at a near $90,000 price. I would like to see that. I know it's kind of nitpicking. And then the other issue, you can only option the Capstone with this hybrid variant engine. Usually when I'm thinking Sequoia, I'm thinking 500,000 miles to 1,000,000 miles. I don't know if that's going to be capable. LED taillights is standard. Sequential LED turn signals for the Capstone. The lower will be cleaned up with the spare tire tucked underneath, and the TRD is going to look the most aggressive of the trims. And this is the most versatile trunk ever. So you can open here, which you can load items inside. And what I mean by versatile is, watch this. It is a power lift gate. Starts off at 11.5 cubic feet of storage. There's 3 tiers, and you can move the floor or adjust it 3 different levels by just simply doing this. And now when you open up that window, items will just lower here. Now you can also increase the cargo behind the 3rd row to 22.3 cubic feet by pushing these forward. That way you can still utilize using the 3rd row, and you still have one of the best in class now for 3rd row cargo. And now fold down the 3rd row by pushing the button at a 40-60 split, increasing cargo to 49 cubic feet of storage. And because of this level here, you can make it a flat floor. You will lose probably a foot or 2 of storage. Unfortunately, you have to go into the back in order to fold down these captain seats, or to fold them upright like this to max cargo to 86.9 cubic feet. Semi-aniline leather upholstery, 18-way power seat adjustment for the driver, memory seat for the driver, heated ventilated seats. The Softex seats start on the Limited trim. You can option that on the SR5 with ventilated and heated seats as an option on the Limited. Headroom and leg room. The Sequoia is huge. The Capstone is the most luxurious in class. You're going to get the walnut wood, 14 speakers through JBL sound system. This is the only trim that gets the 10-inch heads-up display. Large air vents with a 14-inch infotainment screen with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, and when you put it into reverse, You have a 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory for the front and the rear. You have different camera views. And you can also change the lines. And what I like about this is you can set it where when you're going 7 miles or under, the actual infotainment screen will turn into the 360, so it makes it easier for your driving. Tri-climate control settings, wireless charging pad, and the key fob for the new Sequoia. And we have the driving modes for the transfer case, plus your driving mode select on the gauge cluster, which has Eco, Normal, and Sport. With a 12.3 digital reader that can go through an array of information for the driver, including turn-by-turn navigation, the sound system, leather-wrapped steering wheel, heated, multi-function. Heated is an option on the SR5, and here's all the button configuration for the heated steering wheel. You can close the wood so it makes it more seamless. There isn't any pass-through. But you'll have more storage here with a little glove box. This opens up so you don't have to open it fully, or you can just simply open it up so you have full access to 2 USB ports, change holder in the center. Digital rear view mirror with a large panel moonroof that goes to the second row. Door panels and the dash configuring together, and they got the 2 tiers for the armrests. I like the 2-tone, 1 touch up and down for the windows. That walnut wood comes into play with 2 tiers of storage. Second row headroom and leg room. Storage behind both of the front seats. Capstone gets all the bells and whistles, so heated and ventilated rear seats, USB ports, and a home plug, which is an option on the SR5. Air vents in the center. You have more storage here, cup holders, manual sunshades, air vents in the ceiling, 2 armrests yet again for the back with the 2-tone, soft to touch where it needs to be, 2 tiers of storage, and because these are captain seats, you can recline them back, and this will adjust to make it more comfortable for that long drive. To go into the third row, push the lever, it's going to fold up, and now we have quite a bit of space to fit 3 more in the back. We get sunshades, cup holders, LED interior lights, a storage nook, and that's going to be on both sides. Headroom is actually not too bad, and these seats electronically recline, and you can move them forward, and you can adjust them, which I don't think I would do that in this vehicle. Sliding into the center is going to have just as much space. Headroom is actually a little bit better, and as for leg and feet space, you can see fitting adults in the back is not going to be a problem. 437 horsepower with 583 pound-feet of torque. Turn radius is going to start it off, and it's about 3 lanes, and let's rock and roll. She gets up to speed fine. Maneuverability is good because the steering isn't that heavy. It does feel long, and it does feel wide, and it does feel tall. But when you're thinking full-size SUVs, that's pretty much everybody. I just like how playful it can be if you need it to be on a pinch, in which if you're comparing it to the Ford Expedition Timberline, you're gonna have some similar fun to it, but this is gonna outclass it with towing and payload. Smooth transition for the suspension, and we got 22-inch wheels. That's going to take me to some pros and cons. And starting off with the pros, the Capstone does a great job with giving you all the plush amenities. But on the con, they take out the power cushion extensions for the passenger, which, because we're hovering a near 90 grand price point, I would like to see that implemented. The interior is soundproof. Dual pane windows pretty much everywhere. Unless you're pulling up to something that has an exhaust note, you're not really going to hear hardly anything on a long journey. And I like that the 360-degree reverse camera, if you have it set, will turn on and off up to 7 miles per hour. So you can see for maneuverability purposes if you're looking to go from a smaller SUV to a full-size SUV. But the big problem that I have ultimately is you have to go up tiers in order to get the features. You can't option it on each trim. Yes, you can now get the TRD off-road package on a couple of trims this year, but then when you go up to the Capstone, say you don't want a hybrid, you're out of luck. That's the only power option that they have. So there is some configuration that could be altered to make it a little bit better for the buyer. I like that we have a larger infotainment screen, but I would have been fine with a 12-inch instead of a 14, because this top 2 inches comes over my storage in my 12-volt charger. I like that we get a digital rear view mirror, but yet again, you gotta go up the trims and you can't even get a heads-up display unless you go into the Capstone. And as for competition, the Ford Expedition is going to have a lot more hard materials found out. Here you're going to have a lot more plush materials unless you go into the TRD off-road, and they still encase it with softer materials than Ford. Going against GMC and Chevy, it's going to be kind of the same. They have a small little infotainment screen, and for Chevy and GMC, they are going through a full refresh, so you are going to get a larger infotainment screen, a digital gauge cluster. It's going to be reshaped inside. The exterior is going to be very similar. But when I'm thinking all-around capabilities, the Sequoia knocks it out of the park. Not only is it 13% more horsepower and 31% more torque than the prior gen, but it has more capabilities than everybody in class except for the Jeep Wagoneer, and then the technology goes above and beyond because you're getting 5G capabilities plus screens pretty much everywhere. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Gettle Stadium Toyota for giving us this 2024 Toyota Sequoia Capstone for our car review.